This is Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living. Now, let's join Jeff already in the studio.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. Our subject today is encourage me. Encourage me. Now, maybe you resonate with that even when I say that. You're saying, yes, please encourage me. Well, let me promise you I'm going to do my best to do so and to help you encourage others. The scripture that I'd like to use today as a point of departure for our conversation comes from Acts chapter 18, verse 27. Now, this is speaking of a man that we don't know too much about. His name is Apollos, and as you might expect from a man with such a name, he was a very strong personality. He was very bold. He was outspoken. He was a good communicator and educator. But when a couple named Priscilla and Aquila came across him, they heard him and they were very impressed, but they understood that his understanding of some things was incomplete. So they took him aside privately and invested some time in him, helping him see the bigger picture more clearly, the bigger picture of all God had done for us in Christ. And afterwards it said, and this is the verse, Acts 18:27, and when he wanted to go across to Achaia, the brethren encouraged him and wrote to the disciples to welcome him. And when he arrived, he greatly helped those who had believed through grace. So this man who himself was encouraged went out and greatly helped others. Now, I looked up the word encourage. I wanted to see what it originally meant. And in Greek, I found out that the word for encourage is protrepomai. Protrepomai. A little bit hard to pronounce, but that's the word, the Greek word protrepomai. And what it means is to urge forward. To urge forward. That's what encourage originally meant. So I thought about that, and I thought, well, if you're not going forward, what are you doing? Yeah, you're dying. If you're the same tomorrow as you were today, then what did you need today for? Today just completely passed you by. And I thought, that's what happens with dead people. That days go past and they never change. And that's the same thing with us. If we're not changing, if we're not moving forward, that's why it's important for us to understand how to encourage other people and encourage ourselves so that we can all continue moving forward, being better tomorrow than we are today and making a bigger difference in the world around us. And as you know, we need a difference to be made in the world around us. Years ago, I worked at Pizza Hut, and we had a very small little break area where we would sit and eat our little pizzas. And I took a book by the title of Encourage Me. It was written by Chuck Swindoll, and I took that book in and I left it there on that little break table. I think every person that worked there at some point or other came up and saw that book, picked it up and started reading it. And I thought, wow, I brought some other books after that. I thought, well, this is great. Maybe they just like to read. I brought some other books. Nope, they didn't touch them. Only Encourage Me was picked up again and again and again and again. And I thought, wow, this really resonates with people, the need to be encouraged. Because all of us need encouragement. I don't care how great people look. When you get right down to it, people need encouragement. Just recently, we've had some famous people who seem to not need any encouragement. They seem they had it all. Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, and there's been many, many others, all too many, who ended up taking their own lives, didn't even want to be here for tomorrow. And what I've learned is that everyone is carrying a load that is often not apparent. Do not ever judge your internal reality according to somebody else's outward appearance, because appearances are deceptive. How many people are walking around looking like 10s when on the inside they feel like the last rose of summer in a hailstorm? We just don't know what's going on with people, and it's so hard to find a safe environment to open up and to reveal that and to be vulnerable without something bad happening as a result of it, that very often we just carry the pain on the inside. Many people feel several things. Number one, they feel that where I am stinks. I don't even want to be here anymore. I don't know how to get out of it, but I don't want to be here. Many people also don't see how things can get any better. They don't have a positive outlook on the future. They think it stinks and it's just the way it is. I don't possibly see how it could get any better. And many people also may feel, I'm pretty sure things may get worse. Don't see how they're going to get any better, but they very well may get worse. Now that I can believe. A lot of people feel that way. And many of us at different points in our life have felt that way. We have to challenge that self-talk. I was looking up some statistics and I came across an article online at healthday.com. And this article stated that the antidepressant rate in the U.S. rose 65% from 1999 to 2014. In 15 years, antidepressant use rose 65%. That many more people were either feeling stressed or felt that they could actually go and talk about it and get some antidepressants to try to help. Now, interestingly, women were 2 times as likely as men to take antidepressants. I'm not sure why that is, but that's the statistic that I found. So women either are feeling it more acutely or are more willing to open up and talk about it and try to get some help in the form of antidepressants. Now, this was amazing. 1/4 of those surveyed who took an antidepressant in the past month have taken them for more than 10 years. Wow. That's not just being down for a little bit because something bad happened. That is a chronic condition of depression about life. And there's a lot of people in this. This is on the rise. I read another article where the CDC stated in June of 2018, this article was just released last month, that there has been a 25% increase in the U.S. in the suicide rate in the last 2 decades. 25% increase. In 2016 alone, in the U.S., 45,000 lives were lost due to suicide. And the shocking thing is that the U.S. is number 48 on the list of countries when it comes to suicide rate. We lost 45,000 people in 1 year, and we're number 48 on the list. That's shocking. We have a lot of people carrying a lot of burdens and a lot of depression who greatly need to be encouraged. It was stated that suicide is one of the top 10 greatest health risks, and it's one of the 3 in the top 10 that are growing. Alzheimer's and drug overdose are the other 2. 2 of the 3 growing health risks in the top 10 are self-induced. What is this saying about our condition, about our mindset, about our heart set, about our need for encouragement and for a bigger and better picture? So to urge people forward, we must help others. We're not going to get anybody forward if we don't learn how to help them. And there's a few things I want to give with you that can help move others forward. Number 1 is helping them understand that our current state is not permanent. So many people, when it comes to suicide, I remember saying to a friend years ago is when this topic came up that, we're trading a temporary problem for a permanent problem, when we do that. But helping people understand that their current state is not permanent. This too shall pass. It never rains every day. Things can get better. And then helping them identify different choices that can get better results. So many people, they're depressed because they do not feel empowered. In a book by Sean Encore called The Pursuit of Happiness, he studies happiness in depth. And he identifies 5 keys that the happiest people have in common. And number one on that list is they believe that different choices can get better results. This keeps them from feeling stuck. When they have a bad day, okay, they had a bad day. They're feeling down, but that doesn't mean they have to stay there. They can make a different choice and get different results. That's the number 1 thing that the happiest people believe. Number 2 is they see from the most perspectives. They don't just look at one thing. It's so easy to just get like the horse with the blinders on it, where we get focused on this problem and all we can see is the problem. No, the happiest people, the most successful and fulfilled, they step back and they start looking at things from as many other perspectives as possible. How can I look at this with different eyes? Who else has a different opinion on this? How can we discuss this? What else might I be able to see other than just what naturally comes to my mind that is keeping me disturbed? Number 3, they shift their perceptions of being close to success. Instead of seeing success as a long way off, this unattainable thing, they go, no, wait a minute, I can do something that gets better results tomorrow, and I'm successful then. Even if there's many, many more steps down the road, I'm still successful then. And they live celebrating the small victories, that those small successes. So they feel much closer to success than the people who think, oh no, that's not for me. I could never get there. I just don't have what it takes. Number 4, they boost their positive signal by eliminating negative noise. Now, my goodness, how much negative noise do you run across on a daily basis? The things on Facebook, some of those are appalling. Things in the news, things that your friends and coworkers talk about, even things that your family brings home. You know, there was an old song that comes to mind called Television Man, and it said, the world crashes into my living room. The television man makes me what I am. And it's these messages. What messages are we bringing in? What negative noise about our hope, our future, our world are coming to us on a daily basis? The happiest people boost their positive signal by eliminating the negative noise and focusing on the positive messages, on people who are making it, who are seeing things in the right way, who are making progress, and they bring those voices in and put those thoughts in their mind. And number 5, they transfer their positive realities to others. The happiest people don't live as a reservoir, they live as a river. The good that they're bringing into their lives, the good choices they're making, they're sharing those things with other people. They're getting momentum. They're helping other people come along, and they feel more positive because, wow, now not only are they having a better life, they're making a difference in the lives of other people. Nothing ever makes my day as much as when somebody responds to something I shared and lets me know that it made a positive difference. That gives a lot of motivation for going on. That even if I'm having a bad day myself, that will encourage me. Just letting other people know what they've done to encourage us encourages them. And it's something we should all practice. The next thing we want to do is learn to help people persevere. Once they start making good decisions, start those things we just talked about, the results are not always going to be instantaneous, at least not the big ones. Daily ones can be, and we should celebrate those. But success doesn't come overnight. It just doesn't. It's like the man that said, I've worked 20 years to become an overnight success. It takes a little time. It takes a little patience. It takes a little perseverance. And helping people understand, especially this millennial generation, it's tough. It's really tough. You know, they're so accustomed to immediate gratification, immediate response that they don't really stick to it. I heard Simon Sinek say he was talking to a millennial that was ready to quit this really good job. And he said, well, why do you want to quit? Well, I'm just not getting any results. He said, well, how long have you been here? Or so, well, 8 months. Well, that may feel like a long time. That's not really that long of a time. So we have to help people learn to persevere and to celebrate those small victories. You know, Mount Everest, for every single person, is climbed one step at a time. Nobody's ever shown up over there and taken 3 hops and been at the top of Everest. Mount Everest is climbed one step at a time. And for every step in the right direction, if we celebrate and recognize that we're moving in the right direction, we've had a success. Every step we took is a success. Success isn't when we reach the top. Success is recognized then, but success is every step we took along the way and not quitting. As we day by day make these decisions, eventually we're going to end up in a place that we couldn't even recognize from here. And when we look back, we'd be like, oh my, I can't believe I was once there. You know, I've told people some things of jobs I've had in the past and they don't believe me. But you know, it never seems like we're really getting somewhere, but we have to recognize that success happens one day at a time as we keep at it, as we keep making those right decisions. And then eventually, well, we're going to get to a place that's unrecognizable from here. And that might happen faster than we believe as we're filling our minds and focused on taking the next appropriate step every day. Another thing that will encourage people is to give examples of people who have been where they are, even our own examples. It always encourages me when I see somebody who's terribly successful, to hear their struggle stories, to hear how down they've been, to hear the difficulties, not because I like that they had the difficulties, but because it gives me hope. It's like, wow, that could happen for them. It could happen for me too. John Maxwell tells the story about the first, when he was out of college and he wanted to add value to people and he got his degree and he started pastoring this little church. And his very first meeting, he had the turnout of 3 people. 2 of them were he and his wife. The little lady that lived across the street got curious to see what all the big deal fuss was about, and she came over to see what was